321-321-457. Yeehaw! Big boy fella. Big boy fella is in the house. AKA Big Boy Fella can be seen at the Honey Bun channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the Honey Bun channel. We got more than 220 subscribers now. Trying to get that count up to about 1,000 so we can get YouTube sending us checks on a monthly basis. Now, I know y'all like my video, and everybody's watching my video, so y'all subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the Honey Bun channel. Yeah, boy, yeah. Anyway, today is August 25th, 2024. According to my computer monitor here, it is 9:10 p.m. So in other words, I'm getting ready to go to bed. I am getting ready to get me some shut-eye. I've been sleeping till about 9 o'clock the last 2 or 3 days. I don't see why I won't sleep until 9 o'clock tomorrow. And the day after, and the day after, and the day after that. Anyway, oh shit, I'm trying to adjust my camera here. Wee-ha! Oh boy. That's just the way it is right now with Big Boy Fella. Sometimes I stay up pretty late. Last 3 nights I've been up past 1 a.m. That's not good. Anyway, I had me a couple of these Bud Light here in Mexico. They're relatively cheap. But just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's good, right? Cheap does not mean good. Let me tell you why. Now, like I said, that beer is relatively cheap. You can get a 12-pack for about $6. Plus, they got a little promotion going on right now. They're throwing the extra 2 beers. So for that money, you'll get 14 beers. But here's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you this. Beer got a shelf life. They ain't gonna tell you beer got a shelf life. And the shelf life is about 90 days. So this beer here I'm buying essentially has exceeded the shelf life. So they got to get rid of it, right? So what do? What did the good old folks in the U.S. do? As opposed to discarding that beer, they sent it down here to Mexico and sell it for half price. That's what it comes down to. And by the time a consumer like myself purchase the beer, it's usually at or exceeded the shelf life. Therefore, there's a possibility you might get a beer that's spore. Spore beer. I hate to admit it, but this beer here was pretty much close to being spore. You're better off buying the Tecate light beer, which is the same with that there. Actually tastes better. But if you went in a convenience store here in Mexico and bought Tecate light beer here in Mexico, you're going to pay a little bit more than you pay for that there. That there is about 140 pesos for a 12-pack. That's about $7. Tecate for that same 12 pack, you're going to pay closer to $9. But there's zero chance of you getting spoiled beer here in Mexico. If you buy Tecate, you're not going to get anything spoiled or close to being spoiled. You're not getting anything that's approaching its expiration date. It's shelf life. But that ain't why I'm making this video. Damn, and I'm already 5 minutes and a half into the video. Anyway, I decided to do this video because I realized over the last 30 minutes or so that my brother, by another mother that is, RFK, that's Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy, has dropped out of the race to attain the nomination for the Democratic Party and decide to endorse Donald Trump. Robert F. Kennedy decided to endorse Donald Trump as he departed from the presidential race as a Democratic nominee. Isn't that ironic? Now, of course, Mr. Kennedy, father was assassinated in his effort to run for the presidency of the USA. And his uncle, John Fitzgerald Kennedy Sr., was also assassinated. We all know about the President Kennedy assassination, when his Secret Service drove him into a nest of assassinators, and they essentially blow his head off his body, essentially. Or should I say, blow his brains out of his skull. Now, there's 2 books came out about that, and I actually read both of them. One of them was Best Evidence, and the other one was, what's the name of that other one? I can't remember the other one. Now, when I read these books, it was like in the 80s, so I can't quite remember. I used to read books. Before we had all this internet good stuff, in order to occupy your mind and like to keep your mind active, you had to kind of like read books. And I used to read books, believe it or not. I read about 20 books in my adult life. You probably said, well, that ain't a lot. Well, ask yourself, how many have you read? I'm talking books of 500 pages or more. I used to read Howard Dean Nochinsky, a whole lot of other good stuff. I would read a book. I would buy a book, and I'm not a good reader, but I would struggle with that book and read it. Until I got through with it. But anyway, if Robert F. Kennedy decided to throw in the towel in his bid for the Democratic nomination for president and join forces with Donald Trump, then what did that tell you? It's got to speak some volume. Caldwell Jones. Yeah, excuse me. But there's something on my screen that that gets my attention. It says famous NBA player who has died. Remember legends. Oh shit. Man. I look at a lot of guys over here, man. Former NBA player that has died. Remembering legends. JoJo White, Bill Walton, Paul Westphal, Mel Daniels, Flynn Robinson. Some of these guys I remember, some I don't. Hawthorne Wingo. Bob Lanier. Bob Lanier, I think he used to play the Nets, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Ford. I remember he used to coach. Nate Truman. Can't quite remember him. Wes Unseld. Wes Unseld played the Washington Bullets back in the day. Walt Bellamy. Johnny Kerr. Steve Kerr's father, I believe it was. Stan McKenzie. Well, anyway, I digress. Anyway, if Robert Jr. decides to join forces with Donald Trump, as opposed to throwing in the hat and align himself with the Democrat, what that tell you? Volumes speak louder than words. That tells me. Paul Silas, Boston Celtics, Willis Reed. Willis Reed was a Net, New York Net. George McCann, Hal Greer, Jerry Harkness, Metal Lot Lemon. I think he played with the Globetrotters for a little bit. But anyway, let me tell y'all something. That tells me if this guy, Robert F. Kennedy, who lost 2 people essentially in his family circle, his father and his uncle, in politics. And he said, hey, as opposed to join forces with the Democrat, I'm going to align myself with Donald Trump. Then that tells me, hey, maybe this guy knows a lot more about politics than I do. Yes, sir. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. knows a lot more about politics than I do. And he feels that the Democrat Party has taken this country to crap. Their policy is not mainstream. Their policy is not within the best interest of the integrity of the United States of America. And so, in order to resurrect that he's going to, his effort is to get Donald Trump elected president, as opposed to Kamala Harris. Like I said, speaks volume. Hey. It is what it is. I'm going to shut this thing down at 13 and a half minutes. Maybe I got everything on here. Maybe I don't. It's unusual. I will make a video talking about politics. And essentially, this video here ain't just about politics. So, anyway, y'all, I'll be seeing y'all down the road. How that shit go? I'm always trying to build these slogans and shit, and I can't quite remember. If the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. If the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. I'll be seeing y'all down the road. Tell everybody y'all know I said hello. And every time I turn around, I'm looking at some kind of military shit. But I digress. Y'all be good now. Y'all here.